Thank you for joining us again here at the Energy Healing Network. I am Coach Tim.
And I am Coach Sheba.
Yes. Thank you guys again for joining us again for another episode. Want to jump on this Sunday evening to, kind of get into some things that we find to be important here on this, what the world calls Mother's Day. But we like to call it Loving Yourself Day, as we call Loving Yourself Every Day. Which kind of brings us to, the topic of this episode, loving yourself. Because, it on this day of what the world calls Mother's Day, we have to bring to your attention that who said it's actually a Mother's Day? Because these holidays, just like any other day when you check the history of it all, it's a day that's determined by man. Someone decided to take a particular day and say, this is what you guys should decide to go out and spend money on, and go out and, buy flowers or whatever to give recognition to someone on one day. And so people kind of sit around like other holidays, looking for gratification on that particular day, your recognition, your appreciation on that day. But the bottom line is, let's just say, most of these things kind of set you up for negative situations. And what I mean by that is, you're looking for one day to gratify yourself, but what about the other 365 days a year?
That's right.
And so, it sets you up for one day, but when we go back to tomorrow, what do you think of yourself being once you don't have anyone gratifying you about your supposed motherly achievements today? As a father, they have Father's Day coming up pretty soon, and the same thing applies. If someone goes out and they decide, my children or whatever want to decide to recognize me as a great father on one day, and I'm sitting around looking for this gratification. So now, what does that mean for myself the next day?
Right.
Because see, what you have to understand is that you're living for one day at a time to feel like someone should gratify you, when this really would have been needed if you were already doing these things for yourself.
Right, and validation.
Right, but see, this outside validation sets you up for these negative emotions, and what people need to understand is, see, you guys going out and looking at movies like Sinners and things like that, not understanding that the whole thing is about your emotional energy. See, when we look at things, all things are set up for your emotional energy. And let's just look at this day, for instance. On one hand, if you feel that you weren't gratified enough, someone didn't tell you Happy Mother's Day today, how would you feel about yourself? Would that destroy your day? You needed someone to tell you Happy Mother's Day for you to love yourself today? Because if that's the case, then your whole happiness is dependent on other people's recognition of you. Right.
Not what you may think about yourself. Not what you may be doing for yourself, but what other people outside of you.
And so when that doesn't happen, now you feel as though you were in love. But let's ask yourself this deeper question. Why are you asking someone to give you love that you're not giving yourself? Because the days you come up with is you're looking for people to give you things that you're not giving yourself. And you're upset because someone else wouldn't do something that you do not do every day.
Right.
And you're upset then because someone didn't replace the things that you don't love yourself, don't think the worth of yourself, to actually make sure that every day is your day.
Every day.
Every day is loving yourself. And see, there are things that prove this. Like right now, we have things out there about loving yourself, about loving your health, taking care of yourself, doing these things that get up every day and show yourself you love yourself. But instead, most of you decide you're going to take medications and not do it. You want the doctor to care more about your health than you do. You want the pastor to pray for you more than you do. You want the prayer warriors to pray for you more than you do. Now you want the outside public to tell you a Mother's Day. But the thing is you know, how much did you love yourself? Again, if these things someone never told you, how much would you be dependent on this because no one told you this? Well, I'm pretty sure most of you wouldn't. You feel like nobody didn't love you.
And that's just programming.
It is. I mean, because how much money did it, are they taking in?
So let's go ahead, because like Coach Tim stated, this is a man-made holiday, meaning this is not something that it takes place in a spiritual realm.
Has nothing to do with it.
It has nothing to do with being spiritual, celebrating a Mother's Day, Father's Day, any holiday
All
at
holidays.
that point.
All holidays.
And so we always need to look at the deeper meaning behind the things that we have been programmed to celebrate. It's a time where we have to really look and dig deep into what we are doing, what we are celebrating, if it's beneficial for us, if it is not. And most of it is not.
Let's go back to the history of that. So what was this? When was it created?
So the starter of this Mother's Day, her name was Anna Jarvis, a plain woman, just a woman like you and I. And she wanted to start this day to celebrate her own mother. This is where it comes from. She wanted to start this day to celebrate her own mother. And then her mother was an activist. Okay, this was back in like the 1700s, 1800s. Okay, her mother was an activist, and she wanted this day to be about her recognition. She then lobbied to have this day a national holiday under the president at that time of Woodrow Wilson. Okay, so this is how this particular day became a holiday, because of one woman that wanted to honor her mother on this particular day, where we know that it's not about a one particular day that you give honor to your mother, or that you give reference to your mother. We are doing this all year round. We shouldn't need a one particular day to do this. Like Coach Tim said, it opens up the doors for all of the emotional stuff that comes with this particular day, as well as any other holiday that is being celebrated. And like we stated, these man-made holidays are just that. They have been man-made by someone else that felt at that time that's what they wanted to do. And of course, all of them were lobbied and made holidays.
Yes, and they agree with these things because there are secret societies and things that are set up, and you got to wonder what the secrets are about. And I try to let you guys know what the secrets are, but most of you don't really want to hear it. And those secret societies are about using your energy. And most of you, I'm trying to educate you, about these things, because everything comes back to your energy. And so they will agree to give these holidays because they know that you will have an emotional attachment to these holidays. And so with that, now, just like she said, when she's giving, basically honoring her mother, okay, well, the thing about that is where that kind of becomes a slippery slope is giving honor to someone. And let's just say, people are giving honor to people. Let's just say she's passed away. And most of you guys don't look at things as everlasting life as far as your spirit. You look at someone as being dead.
Right.
And so now you determine your Mother's Day when that person's passed away, like my mother's passed away. But,
mine too.
But I celebrate her life instead of sitting around mourning today, because I feel like tripping to her is I'm supposed to mourn her death because this is Mother's Day.
Right.
And so now this emotion, but the thing is, if you don't have spiritual understanding and know that she never died, only her physical body passed away, but her spirit is everlasting. So you church people like to say these things, but you never actually go about these words.
Right.
You see, the spirit is everlasting. So
everlasting.
So why would I be sitting around today mourning her death to celebrate something we should be celebrating in life every day?
We are eternal beings.
We don't die.
We do not die. We do not pass away.
Right.
We lose these vessels.
It's just a car that you ride around in on this third dimensional, and you're going to get out of this at some point in time and get in another one. But depending on, I don't want to go down this road too much, but until you lose these negative emotions, you come back again to repeat these same lessons again. That's what the whole energy situation is about, because it keeps you talking in a lower frequency. And these holidays keep you in a lower frequency. Suicide rates go up how much during Christmas?
Yeah.
How much does somebody on Valentine's Day feel like they're sad because they don't have someone, a boo, to boo up with?
And that's right.
You know, or someone, you know, again, some people celebrating, let's just say 4th of July. Well, how many, this country's not, how many of you actually were free, especially black people, when this song was written?
Right.
And we can get deeper into this matter to show this country isn't free. But I'm not even going to go down that road because it's a whole other topic.
Right.
The bottom line is that everything they set up is set up by man. But and the thing is, most of you people like to tell yourself people are God, but everything you do is set up behind man's law.
Exactly.
Legal stuff. It's not, because see, there's a difference between lawful and legal. See, slavery used to be legal.
It's not lawful.
But that don't mean it's
was
God's
never
law.
lawful.
It's not, it has nothing to do with the actual creator God, and not some man either, you know, because
Right.
it's spiritual energy. So it's not some man up there just developing laws. It's a universal law that applies, and it's a scientific situation here where electromagnetic and magnetic frequencies, that's why come you don't think of Mother Earth. Whenever there's, in every situation that goes on in whatever, there's going to be a feminine and masculine aspect of it all. Just like, you know, your wall plug needs a socket. Just like, you know, you need male and female to carry on life. So why you keep talking about this they think about the she part of it all.
Right. The she part is the biggest part.
I mean, really, like, you know, how many of us gave birth for anything without a woman, a feminine aspect or something?
Exactly.
But the thing is, though, you people have not educated yourself on energy, so now you keep seeing yourself in the physical, and you're punishing yourself in the physical, but you understand that this thing is, that everything they got set up is to manipulate your energy.
Your energy, it's what you say, it's an energy war.
Exactly, but people, they think because they're strolling on their phones right now and looking at TV that the war is not going on. The war is going on while you're holding this phone right now.
Right.
Because they use these electromagnetic frequencies to jam your frequency within your mind and see if you guys not meditating, breath work and things, you're not raising your frequency enough. You go in, I mean, I could explain all day about how your body actually a frequency, and you should be vibrating over 70. I mean, you don't know anything about that. I'm not even going down there. You're gonna say, what is he talking about? But that's my point. You have no idea about what I'm talking about. Most of you guys are not educating yourself, don't want to listen. And so now you're sitting around most of the time right now, someone's looking at me right now, upset because they don't feel like they were treated right on Mother's Day today.
Yeah, and it's
Or
not.
you're mourning your mother because she's not here today. Instead of looking at to celebrate your life every day, when you begin to love yourself, you know, you begin to see past these things instead of looking for things, because they set these things up for you to be self-pity days.
Yes, right. And I was gonna say, leading up, everything leading up to these days is emotional energy.
Exactly.
Everything.
They get you fresh with the commercials. They start letting you know what's coming. And they get you, you know, and now they get you tied into it. So now everybody's emotionally tied invested into this particular day. And so now, somewhere when you get emotion, you get someone you can manipulate them to do what you need them to do. How much money has been spent on this day again?
Ooh, $25 billion just for this day alone. This is a commercial, man-made holiday.
Well, all
just
of them.
like all of them.
I was gonna say Christmas
Yeah.
brings in, Easter brings in, Valentine's Day brings in, 4th of July brings in, every holiday. Labor Day, you celebrate slavery. Labor. You mean, you know, all of these days are generated for money, and they go along with it all, everything else that you pretty much do when you go in, supposed to be dealing with the God inside yourself, but you got to drop a donation in the offering, because everything is set up. And we don't want to go down the road too far, but again, here we go with your emotions, because you're tied to these things.
It's all tied together. All of it.
Exactly.
Religion, everything, all of it. Government, all of it is tied together.
Because if I can get you to believe anything, your emotions are now attached.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how wrong it is, how right it is, you're going to be emotionally attached to it. And now you pass it on, you keep passing it on, and it doesn't have to make any logical sense at all. Because when you sit back and think about it, now let's just say people of color in this country, how many things have they set up in this country in the past to actually work, that were actually supposed to work for you? But you serve religions and laws, things right now that you want to be a part in, that none of this stuff will ever set up to benefit you.
Right.
But the emotional attachment to want to basically, you know, conform be obedient, because that's what's also taught, obedient. Because we can tell you right now these things are European holidays made up, but you're going to be obedient anyway and do it because everybody else does it.
Right.
See, until you start thinking for yourself and start getting control of your own emotional energy, you're going to continue to stay in this trap.
Right. And understanding that doing what everybody else is doing is not thinking for yourself.
It's called followers, and it used to be a bad word when you were a kid. You're just a follower, but then people grow up to be followers. Because actually it starts in school. That's when we have to put our hands up, raise our hand. Everybody supposed to do the same thing, supposed to learn the same thing. You talk the same thing, so you're supposed to think the same thing. But how many of you actually pick up a book and research the stuff right now and start self-educating yourself about things? See, that's when you take power, when you start self-educating yourself. But right now, we had to just educate most of you about where even Mother's Day came from. Right. Because you're just doing it because someone told you to do it. And you're living your life because someone told you to do it. And so when that happens, all these, they're telling you to do it because there's a benefit for them, and it's benefiting their energy. Again, that comes back to that movie that you're looking at. Even all vampire movies is not about the blood, it's about the person's energy. They're using your energy, and it's always some type of emotion, whether it be lust or jealous, some type of that you allow this energy to come in to basically feed off of you. And so when you're sitting around negative energy right now, they're feeding off your negative energy.
That's right. I want to point out too that Anna Jarvis, that started the day, she probably had well intentions about the day, because it is also stated that she actually turned against this day when she realized how commercialized, even back in 1940, how commercialized this day was going. She turned against this day. So, not saying that she didn't have good intentions when she wanted to acknowledge her mother, which still is an acknowledgement of an everyday thing, but she realized what was going on within this world.
Well, that's the thing about it. You probably look at it and people are, they're well-intentioned, even though they may be ignorant to some facts.
Right.
And she was ignorant to the things we're speaking on because she would never brought it to them.
Right.
But they saw the opportunity when she brought it to them because they see where they could use it.
Yeah, just like all the other holidays.
Exactly. Like if it's not beneficial to them, they're like they will veto it and send it back down the hill and say we're not doing it.
Right.
See, that's what bills and things are about. We either approve it or we veto it.
Right.
And so the government does nothing, and I mean nothing, that does not benefit itself.
That's right.
It's never going to do anything for you. It's your job to do things for you. It's your job to start loving you.
Yeah.
Stop looking for the government and everything outside to start loving you. And better yet, look for validation from people to start loving you, because that's where all this thing sets up. They knew that this was a day that people could put their emotions into something.
Yeah.
Especially ladies, with y'all emotional selves. We can harvest great energy with them, because all we need is if we can't get them one way or the other, they're not feeling celebrated or they're mourning someone. Either way, we're going to get negative energy out of them.
It's one or the other.
Guaranteed to get it out of them one way or the other. You're going to be in mourning on one end and upset because you weren't recognized or like you felt like you should have been, when they actually know the problem is you not recognizing yourself.
Every day. That's the problem.
You have to understand universal laws. See, you reap what you sow. But see, the thing is what we call this is that, basically, the law of vibration, the energy you put out is the energy you receive. So you're putting this negative energy out, and this is what comes back to your life. So then you keep needing more of something to validate, because it starts a cycle.
Right.
And so they know these days start these cycles.
Yeah.
You'll be messing around and be depressed for a week, worried about this day.
Yeah, or you was depressed
before you got here, the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Getting here, knowing you got to certain points, you started having bodily, feelings within you, got into a certain mood. These things happen to people when they come up on your mother's death and things like that, because you're still internally looking at things as death instead of celebration of life, and nothing never dies.
Exactly.
See, I went through this deal, when my mother first died, and I was dealing with grief to the point where my body was tight. This is before this, as I was learning these practices, so I already know what it takes to relieve yourself of this grief and what it can do. But the thing is, the last thing you want to do, most of you people are thinking you're holding on to your people by not allowing them to go, and you grieve them. You're going to grieve them for the rest of your life as if that's going to bring them back alive.
Yeah.
And then you use these holidays like Christmas and Mother's Days or whatever to try to reinforce these negative thought processes within yourself, instead of understanding that you're basically celebrating a lie. The person is not dead.
Right. They are still alive.
They're still alive. But you're the person who's dying because you're not living.
Right.
So now you're looking at death instead of allowing yourself to breathe life into yourself and start loving yourself. Because an individual doesn't love themselves, well then, which direction are you going?
Right. And us women, we must learn how to love ourselves. It goes so deeper than just us.
Yes. I mean,
when we don't know how to love ourselves, we don't know how to love our children.
No.
We don't know how to love our men.
No.
We don't know how to love anyone around us when we do not know how to love ourselves.
and that's, we can start a whole other podcast on that because most of you not ready for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the one that, that was willing to listen to some of these things because we all must heal for some things.
Oh my goodness. We have to heal.
And the thing is,
Start to heal.
But you got to first want to get out of your own way and that guilt and shame and start. First of all, everything we're telling you, remember that you didn't know it. Now, it doesn't mean that your life doesn't pay for it because of your ignorance, but you have to start educating yourself, but while forgiving yourself for not knowing certain things that they didn't really mean for you to know. Mm-hmm. Even though, again, most of you, if you did look at that movie, Sinners, it tells you, and this is the truth, is that they need your compliance. So they're telling you through movies, but y'all think it's science fiction. They're telling you through books, but what they say about putting things in certain books about certain people, they will never find it. They give you the information. I'm giving you information right now. Continue to give me your information. And got many videos, but how many of you actually go look at it and take it to heart? Mm-hmm. So you volunteer to give them compliance on what it is they're doing, and then wonder why you're still in suffering. Mm-hmm. You stay in suffering, but you've been suffering so long that it's your normal. And now you basically have decided this is the generational thing. That's why they call it generational curse. Well, it takes an individual to start seeing these things, to break it, look at your babies or your grandbabies or someone, decide that this stops with you.
Right. And it's suffering that we are causing ourselves.
Yes.
Nobody else is causing this suffering for us, for you guys. I mean, no one. It is being caused by our way of thinking.
Right. But it's hard for people to understand that because you think you're powerless. Mm-hmm. So you think things are happening to you instead of through you. But I can rest assured, we come from where you come from. So we've created our own things and not knowing it. Now we can look back and understand. I definitely know that we're powerful individuals. You just have to know that and know that your mind state is what creates your reality. Mm-hmm. So when you want to sit today and allow this Mother's Day thing to create misery in your life, look for more misery to come through your life.
That's right. We really got to think about what we are thinking about.
Yeah, and understand that the traps they set in society to set you into this situation.
That's right.
See, that's when y'all want to use these terms, get behind the devil.
That's the time to use them.
These are the times to do these things.
Right now, days like today.
When negative emotions come up on you, and when it come up wherever it came from, that is your time to make a different decision and start rewiring your brain and your nervous system to begin to say, you use those words to get behind, because that's the negative devil that's in your mind right then that's trapping you in here.
Thank you for saying that. It is your devil in your mind. It is the negativity that is within you. And
then it's also the devil telling you right now, have grace on all of us who want to sit in negative energy.
That's
no,
right.
We don't. We won't. No, we won't. Because that's the devil looking for excuses right now for you to entertain it and stay in your house.
That's right. Your house.
Stay in your house. You ain't welcome into your house,
and
now you make an excuse for it to just act a fool in your house. Just straight up, tear it up, and you just saying it's just doing what it do.
This is normal.
It's normal.
It's a normal process.
Right. So so again, who's doing that? You're doing that. You're allowing it because you got the power to kick it out.
That's right.
You're allowing it to be there. It's up to you. So for those of you that want to say, give us grace, we are. We're giving you grace with the truth.
That's right.
Because sitting here allowing you to sit here and continue to wallow in self-pity, that's an illusion. It's not the truth. It's not loving you. So we have love here. It's love, but see, love looks different when you never had it. See, people who don't love you tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
People who love you tell you what you need to hear.
That's right.
And that's the difference. In our community, they ain't used to that.
And people don't know what that love is.
They don't, because first off, it starts with you, because you don't tell yourself what you need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't tell yourself what you need to hear. You don't kick yourself in the butt and make yourself do it. Right now, I got a book right now that tells you about how to drop your blood pressure. And about 50% of the people right now looking at this right now have high blood pressure. Which one of you have made a move to buy the book?
That's a form of love for yourself.
You decide you got blood pressure problem, but your doctor's supposed to love you more by giving you blood pressure medication. I mean, I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah. Instead, you'll go out to eat dinner today for this man-made holiday and eat all the food that you know you're not supposed to be eating. And then tomorrow or during the week, you
want prayer warriors.
Yeah.
You want prayer warriors.
Yeah.
But today you decided you was gonna binge eat and you let the devil inside of you say, I know I ain't supposed to eat this. I know my blood pressure high. I'm gonna eat this fried chicken anyway. I know I'm gonna have a reason not to love myself. You got to die something anyway. You let the devil just take you all the way down into that hole, and then you want to come back by Wednesday or Tuesday morning when you wake up and that stuff cloud up a little bit, and you all on Facebook. You all everywhere talking about I need prayer warriors and I need this and I need that. Still looking for people to do stuff you did not do for yourself because you didn't care about yourself 2 days ago. But now you want somebody that more of it from everybody else that you collectively wouldn't give yourself not one day.
Y'all.
And see, the thing about this is, yes, I get it at the women. I mean, I don't really care because at the end of the day, this world is dependent on women.
Yeah.
Y'all are the powerfulest forces that walk this. We come through you all.
Mm-hmm.
We come through you all. But the thing is, when you're feeding us bull, especially men who are around here feminized because women want to make them manipulative because they're not sure about themselves, so they need to breed men who are weak, you know what I'm saying, for the next weak woman to come along, because a woman who disconnects from herself cannot raise connected individuals.
Mm-hmm.
You can't love yourself, so how you going to teach somebody how to love themselves?
Mm-hmm.
You can't give what you don't have. If you believe that, then okay, take your money out your bank account, burn it up, then try to loan somebody some money. See what happens. You can't give what you don't have in no aspect of life. None. And so everyone has been walking around giving and never give themselves anything. You have not the ability. See, you can't drive something when you never learn how to drive.
Right. And depending on other people to do it for you, we're not doing it ourselves for ourselves.
Well, not only that, but when you depend on someone else to give it to you, when you never gave it to yourself, you wouldn't recognize what it looks like when somebody gives it to you.
Right.
This is why you get people who they get all the money in the world, but they're still unhappy. They're still cheating. They're still doing this, that, and the third, because you have not healed what's inside of you. And money, none of this stuff is gonna ever cover up that you basically not loving and but yourself. Mm-hmm. See, a person thinks they get to a certain point and people gonna give them enough adulation enough to where they're gonna like themselves enough, and then they get there and they still want enough.
Right.
Because they never learn. It does not work with outside. It works when you do it with inside, and then it comes from the outside. So all the love you get, just like most athletes that turn, you get that love, and then when your career over with, see how much they love you. It was only adulation. Temporary. Things are permanent. When you love yourself, then no matter where you are, you're going to give love because it's love inside of you, and it attracts that love.
Right.
But all people see as a person who don't love themselves really is a person who's vulnerable. Mm-hmm. You think you say you love, but speaking as a man, I mean, back in the day, you can see a woman, she thinks she act like she got all the clothes on. I can see through all that right there. She decorated like that because she really insecure. She trying to decorate because she put in a ponytail, she knew she looked good. That was the case. I'm just saying, she knows she look good with a ponytail. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? The point is that loving yourself, you don't necessarily have to, it's going to come from the inside. Yeah, it's not going to be something that you need to decorate on the outside, trying to impress everyone else with.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And people don't know what that looks like because they're too busy trying to fake it. And see, to those that are real, that's why I stayed single for, I got divorced for almost 15 years because I was calling it. Because as men, you cannot sit down with somebody who's fake. Mm-hmm. They don't know themselves. That's why you end up out in the street somewhere trying to feel like a man because she's not gonna make you feel like a man because first of all, she can't give you love she ain't gave herself.
Right.
She has to first love herself. So encourage that. If you're gonna be a real man, encourage that woman to learn how to love herself. And while you learn how to love yourself, because you can't don't start trying to tell everybody else what to do. It's always a practice with us all. We all have to walk in this.
That's right.
And if a person not walking in this thing, then they're standing still, and that's when you get outgrown.
And I just want to point out, too, because you pointed out some good stuff right then, like, that's the kingdom.
Exactly.
y'all do know that that is the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
The kingdom of God that is within us. That is where we need to get to. We got to get inside us.
We're not talking about meditation for no reason. There's a reason.
Right.
There's a reason why people are told, especially in the community, that you weren't supposed to meditate, because they know you're going to take your power back. And the thing is, we keep trying to encourage you to do these things, but you guys just keep looking at us like,
it's all right.
yeah,
I mean,
it's up to you.
It's up to
but
you.
But the thing is, just know that you're volunteering for the stuff
Yeah.
you're going through while you're not doing it. Just understand that
That's
part.
right.
Because we're not here to save people.
yeah, no.
We're only here to give messages. And for those that want to help themselves, not say you can't save anyone. A person has to save themselves.
That's right.
You have to decide to do right now to say enough is enough about the stuff you're dealing with. Now, we can help you. I can help you. I'm in the business of helping someone lead them to that point. But all I can do is lead you there. You have to be a willing participant to want better for yourself and loving yourself every day.
Right.
Not deciding that someone else loves you more, or the day like the day you're looking for one day of validation while you sit around in self-pity or self-misery with the other days until, something else comes along and then you temporarily vibe up, for whatever holiday. But it's all fake because you end up, again, with some negative emotion that comes from that.
Yeah.
Look at it closely. Look at it very closely. There's not one holiday that doesn't come with a negative emotion.
Yeah, and those negative emotions keep you where?
In hell. Because that's the true hell. Negativity, living in misery, living in despair, living in doubt and fear within yourself, trapped inside of that. See, the thing is that Wesley, you can't escape that. It's inside of you. And you have to let it go. No matter where you go, you can put on the face, put on the makeup, but guess what?
That's right.
It's still there.
I mean, hell is not out there. If hell ain't out there somewhere,
Yeah,
heaven is not out there somewhere.
it's not a physical place.
It's in there.
Exactly. And you're living in it. Most of the time, it's just people just have normalized it. If you don't call your stuff you come from a generational curse and not understand it's a form of hell.
Yeah.
Think about it that way, people. You've called some stuff for hundreds of years a curse. So what does that mean?
That's right.
And what are you going to do to try to change it? Because you volunteering to stay in the curse.
When you don't make the choice to change.
Exactly. All we can do is keep trying to offer you the choices, but most of you choose to stay where you're at, and then you allow that devil again to sit here and justify why you're going to sit here and sit in self-pity, and why you're going to accept sitting here and expect everyone to just go along with it.
Yeah.
Well, we're not. Not those of us who actually know spirit. because going along with it is complicity to it. And I'm not being complicit to none of this foolishness.
Nah, this is the stuff of the world
Exactly.
that y'all like to talk about.
Right.
These holidays and everything that takes your energy.
It's hard not to see how people call things of the world, but then they do everything the world does.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the greatest,
And I mean,
conflict
I
that
used
goes on.
to be in this. So I know now. I know both sides of this coin. I know both sides of this coin. I used to be the one that celebrated all of these holidays and went all out for mama and got celebrated myself, and grew up wanting to need validation for who I am.
Yeah, I celebrated the holidays. I was never deeper into the church because, again, I was some things I always questioned that my spirit I look back on now wouldn't allow me to digest. But we all kind of did things that we didn't know any better.
Right.
That's the point, is that we learn better to do better.
Exactly. This is the learning better to do better.
Exactly, because no one's going to sit here and say, my mother, the third I can tell, she came from the holiness, so it was totally disempowering. So it took me to go on my own journey and learn the truth. But that's what we all should do instead of buying the messages that our parents give us and think that we're supposed to walk with them, not understanding that these messages are coming from places of ignorance and unhealing.
And survival.
And survival, because remember, these things or practices were put upon us within slavery. And those that want to argue it comes from Ethiopia, whatever, no, the Europeans went to Ethiopia and spread Christianity to so stop it. And those that want to say Jesus was black and all these things, whatever, then your people have been persecuted by religion, so that makes it even worse. So you don't get to have like an escape plan from things that we already know that have been put on our people, and you can look at it and actually see, where is your community right now when you're the most religious, but powerless people? Because see, when you're putting things out there for something else to do, then you're saying you can't do it.
That's right. You're not even looking at the God in you.
Yes.
The spirit, the divine energy that flows through you daily.
Right.
You have put it outside of you.
Which is actually what the actual Jesus teachings actually was. It was telling you that it was inside of you. And again, I keep restating that he didn't die for your sins. He was killed because he said he was blasphemous.
That's right.
For saying that he was God's.
You are God's.
So remember, the Romans were against him. Then they decided to use him in the Bible about 15, 20 years in 325 when Constantine decided to use him as a figure to unify their government.
That's right.
And these are the facts.
Yep.
And most of you don't want to go read to understand. Let's understand this part. When you got a religion that's been put on you through everything that you was in, they allowed you to have a Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You was in slavery. They wouldn't let you read, but they let you have a Bible. Do you not feel that suspicious? I mean, I'm just going down these roads because most of these holidays also have a Christian connotation to it too.
They do.
And so, and it gets guilt and shame in here when you don't go along with these things. So I'm not here to talk about your beliefs. We're just talking about how your beliefs influence your emotional energy and how they tie these holidays into your emotional energy to now have you tied it to something that's totally fictitious.
That's right. And thinking that you're not loved and
Right.
all of this other stuff,
Right.
which it definitely starts within you.
Exactly. But again, back to religious things, you're looking for outside validation. You're looking for God to love you. Yeah, the God in you, you love the God in you. Or thinking that something going to happen in your life, so somebody else, the God favored somebody else more than it favored you.
Right.
You got to get this foolishness out of your mind.
Oh yeah, like saying that you're God's child.
Yeah.
Well, if you are God's child, how are you not God?
Exactly. How does if anything, if a dog gives birth to a dog, what is it going to be? A dog. If an alligator gives birth to an alligator, whatever we want to give birth to, I don't care.
It is that thing.
It's going to be it. So why is it that people are understanding that, first of all, God is in you, but they're detaching that from you by moving with the devil energy in you right now, by putting the negative energy in you right now to, first of all, not see yourself as a God. And repentance is leaving the negative emotions behind.
That's right.
I cannot stress this enough. Your body has to be rid of negativity. Fear not is what your Bible said, but you guys fear everything. Shame and guilt, all these things are negative energies of the world and of the devil.
Right.
But y'all can't see that because, unfortunately, it comes from what you think God located.
That's right.
But again, this is how we keep you negative, keep you tied to things emotionally that inside of you, you may not know it's right. You know it ain't right, but you do it anyway because guilt and shame has you emotionally tied to these things. So you, as my mother used to say, I just go right along. But my mother died of cancer because she was totally contradicted within herself. Because if people really knew how cancer was started, it starts with this unharmonious energy within your body. Basically, you carry negative energy and it eats away at your body.
And that's all disease.
All disease.
Sickness.
Sickness that comes from the negative energy that you decide to hold right now because of Mother's Day is setting the foundation for you to have sickness later. And then when they give you the sickness, now we can give you the Savior.
Yeah.
But they're the one who gave you sickness.
Yep.
I'm not going to, again,
It ain't no sugarcoating this.
It's not.
It is not no sugarcoating this at all.
I told her I was going to try to, and I still, I try to bring it in some because.
Passion is passion and passion for our people.
Well, not only that, I have compassion for you guys. But the thing is that there are some truths that you cannot, it's going to come off harsh because it's a harsh truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to accept it just because, it's facts and you don't want to accept because it's in your belief system. Why is it harsh truth? Because you identify with it. You identify with it because you're in your emotions. But the thing is, it's not you. It's what you've identified with yourself to be. So now your emotions have you tied to these things. So now it's hard for you to see things clearly.
Yeah.
You can't make rational decisions when you have emotions tied to them. And that's what you guys keep. They keep things like these things to keep you emotionally invested the way you never make rational, conscious decisions for your life, for the betterment of your life to improve, for the betterment of your families to improve. So you stay stuck in this hell and needing savior from things because you're never actually becoming your own savior.
Right.
And that's what you're here to do, become your own savior.
That's right. And that is what Jesus taught.
Exactly. It's what people want to follow Jesus, but the thing is, you're following what man told you Jesus said.
Right. That's right.
I mean, because we can go through all we want to about whether Jesus exists or not. I don't really care. All you need to do is get the message that was said.
The teaching.
The teachings from Jesus.
That's right.
The teachings from Jesus is what you're supposed to be going through, not the worship of the man.
That's right. You listening to Paul, James, Luke, Thomas.
With American names in the Middle East. Yeah,
telling
right.
you what Jesus said.
Right.
Okay, get that in your mind.
Well, let's get this first of all. Every time you on the street, how many times you hear a rumor when you get it back to you, how many times it's been changed?
Right. That's right.
So you got a book of rumors, but from what somebody else said, according to the whole book, a book according to. But none of you want to go according to Jesus.
That's right.
The book of Thomas can get you close to that, but I bet y'all won't go pick that book up though.
That's a good book.
It was removed from the Bible, people. Go get some of the removed books and understand why they were removed.
That's right.
Stop trying to say this is the First Testament and Second Testament. It don't make no difference. How do you have to have so many words from one man? So many different versions of one thing that was said because it ain't what he said.
And this is the self-educating that we are talking about.
Right.
Educating yourself.
Instead of looking at me right now and saying, well, because that ain't what your mama taught you, then I'm gonna go along with that. Well, then don't wonder why you got the blood pressure, your medication your mama took. Stop trying to pass on stuff that was going on in your family that's going into your blood when it's your mind.
Right.
It's the mindset that y'all carry that brings all the sickness and health problems in your life. How you carry yourself, it ain't inherently in your body. You eat the same things because you eat survival food. You're eating dead meat. You're eating stuff of survival. You have negative thoughts. You live in fear. You're worried about money. You're always stressed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have your mind, your mother's makeup, your people's makeup, and then you got this thing in your mind. Most of you say, well, this is what we do to further affirm these negative thoughts in your mind, to say that you live in a negative state. And so then now you have sealed yourself into these deals because that's what you identify yourself as.
Yeah.
So until you stop understanding you're the one who's doing these things yourself, and start educating yourself, and those of you don't want to pick up a book and start educating yourself, but then you want to keep sending your kids to the school for them to indoctrinate them some more, for them to come back and be just as damaged as you are. Not knowing exactly, because all that program them to do is be workers and come back home and be a damaged individual and stroll through their Facebook and like they're doing, just like you do right now. Never gonna walk in their own power. Never gonna know who they are. Always gonna be afraid to step out in their own stuff. Being followers, because you're following holidays, you're following this, you're following that, because everybody else said so, and you never question anything. So that's what we're here to do, to get you to open your mind a little bit.
That's right.
With some truth.
Open your mind, open your heart. Open.
Exactly.
Open.
Because your hearts are closed because, you have to close your heart on some things to accept some of the things that people have accepted. See, people, when you walk around, you're hating on people, you close your heart. When you're hating on yourself. See, first of all, you got to start loving yourself. And so you looking at things, you hate yourself and you don't like stuff about it, that's a closed heart. You have to open your heart to yourself first. Start looking at yourself in the mirror every day and knowing the power in yourself. Start looking at yourself and say, I love you. I don't care what nobody else think. I love you.
That's right. That's right.
And then the next day you get up and do it again. And when you lay down at night, you start being gratitude for what you have instead of sitting around worrying about what somebody didn't gratify you with. And then the next morning you do it again. You get up and be grateful because you woke up and you somewhere it's got it worse than you. But you're somewhere worried about what somebody else thinks about you, what somebody didn't say about you, or what and all this thing, or what somebody might have said negative about you. When it does not matter when you are cool with you. When you look at yourself and say it don't matter. Because I walk in the power that I know and I love myself, and I'm going to walk with that love of myself, and I'm going to show myself this love every morning of the day. And when the devil come in and try to tell me, I'm going to say, get behind me, I'm going to put this love first instead of choosing to sit in that den he got set up for you to come on down here and sit down here in this self-pity right here and just start making up excuses and procrastinations on why you're going to sit in this negative energy. Oh, it's okay. This is what you're used to. This is your comfortable, uncomfortable spot.
Yeah, this is the day to do it. You know all the stuff that the devil try to tell you. Your own mind tries to tell you.
Oh man, this day today, it was raining. It was Mother's Day. Somebody right now got a self-pity story that's a mile long. And it ain't true.
That's right. It is not even true.
It's not true. But
Not the truth of you.
Not the truth, but you decided to make it true today, so that's what it turns out to be. But just because you tell yourself things, because you're going to a negative state of mind that is true, it does not make it true. And try this. Take a deep breath. Let's just take a deep breath for a minute. Come from the bottom. We're going to give you come from the diaphragm up to the bottom. Now allow yourself to sit for a bit and see if your perspective don't start changing about that just a bit. Start seeing yourself with gratitude for how you feel right now. How you just feel in the moment. Not what's going to happen or what's going to happen right now. Just that you right now can sit here, because see, I can know if you can sit here and pay attention to me, you got to be, your health has to be somewhere, and whatever you're going on with, do know that you can change it. Because whatever is started, reverse it. We call it law. We call it law of reversibility. Whatever you start, because everything starts within your mind. See, the universe is mental. People got to get there. Nothing's happening to you on the physical that does not happen to you first through your thoughts and mind. You guys want to know it? I got books here to educate you on this, but you got to understand this. It starts in your mind. So the same way it started in your mind, the same way it heals in your mind. This is the story Jesus trying to tell you as being a healer.
That's right.
But you don't believe in you. You've been let man tell you to believe in something that they have enslaved you with to take your power from you. And we keep trying to give it back to you. Or at least allow you to reclaim it back. I can't give you anything. All I can give you is information. You have to decide each day to reclaim that power and know that it's there. But you can't say that you don't know it's there, because trust me, I got more than enough books. I've written 2 books already, and a third is coming out, that's basically addressing, why mental health, why breathwork and meditation is better than talk therapy. Well, because you can't talk this stuff out. And I get into science on how your energy is influencing it all.
Right.
And so it's up to you guys to sit and look at things. I appreciate the likes and loves and things, but it's not what it's about. It's about you guys purchasing these things and changing your lives. That's what the appreciation I want. I want to see you guys living in your abundance and living in your higher version of yourself. See, and the thing is too, these things come to you. You want to see everybody succeed when you let go of all that negative energy. And see, you don't have any competition in you. You don't have any envy. All you see is love, because you see them all connected. So that's what this is why we're doing this, because we could always sit and just know this stuff, but with information it comes responsibility for trying to help other people. And that's what I do. That's my purpose here in life, to try to help others. I already know my purpose.
And I know mine.
So it's up to, but our first purpose is to ourselves, to heal ourselves,
right,
while helping others understand that they also need to heal themselves.
That's right.
And helping them get the tools to help them heal themselves. But the individual has to decide they want to heal themselves and be honest with themselves and stop lying to yourself, because I'm telling you right now, you're living in lies and you've been lying to yourself about everything. And most of the time, so most people want friends, but you got to be a friend of yourself, because most of you don't want, first thing you try to say, if you had a friend who lied to you, I can't stand a liar. Oh, really? Really? Well, how many lies do you tell yourself in spite of we keep telling you this ain't the truth, but you insist on living the lies? So that's why you keep lying people around you, because the energy you put out is the energy you receive. And so that's pretty much what we're gonna leave it at right now. Again, I do need to make reference again, because I do have books out here that educate you on this. And part of your healing is they don't want you. This is the reason why they gave you a Bible, because they didn't want you to educate yourself on anything else. And so now we're giving you the movies out here that kind of give you understanding. But the thing is, when you read the books, you look at these movies, when you understand it, she'll tell you. Go back and look at stuff now that totally thought it went over their head. Now all of a sudden, like, oh wow,
didn't understand it at all back then, and now, come on now,
y'all just don't even know.
It's right in your face.
It's right in your faces. This movie, that movie, Sinners, is just another movie that y'all just looking at and totally like not understanding. It's about you. It's about your daily lives. And the vampires, which happens to be a white guy who was known to him that club, I understand, they sucking your energy. Your job is sucking your energy. These commercials, the entertainment, all this stuff is sucking your energy because you're not giving any. You're looking for all things coming outside and never loving you, never going inside to turn on the spiritual energy within yourself. So they continue to make sure that these things happen, and you're never going to do it because they know a person who has negative emotions cannot do it.
That's right. But we are here to tell you that the healing frequency is what?
This is the healing frequency is love. It's all about, but that's the thing is that this everything has been moving in hate. That's why if this world was about love, then you wouldn't have Democrats and Republicans, you wouldn't have wars, you wouldn't have people finding different things to dislike themselves about because they always have to choose a side. And they don't care what side you choose as long as you choose a side because that means you're going against each other. And y'all have to understand that the only way you get out of this is y'all attached to something. You're attached to being a Democrat. You're attached to being a Republican. You're attached to this religion. You're attached to these things. So now they get you to identify being these things when that's not you.
Right.
That's what they told you that you should do.
Yeah.
And then they gave you a few things to fear to make you decide to choose a side. But back to fear not. Your fear, if you wouldn't have had fear, then you wouldn't have been manipulated. But you had that negative energy of fear within your body so they can use that to manipulate you to choose a side when there are no sides. We all are one. But you are moving negative energy whenever you're going fighting anything, fighting against anything, because everything is about love, not hate. You don't have both. You can't serve two masters.
That's right.
And so until people, that's where the love starts in yourself right now. When you start loving yourself, then you can start giving love. But you're hating yourself, looking for something to love you because you don't love yourself, is where the problem begins. And you look at the news, you look at everything else to solve the problems that you got because you want these things outside of you to solve the problem that you have to solve yourself. So again, back to Loving Yourself Day.
That's right.
This is what we're celebrating today, tomorrow, and every day.
Every day.
So if you guys want to grow, you decide to, whatever you're sitting in self-pity right now, you decide to choose a different thought process. You decide to start picking up a book and educating yourself and then be gratitude about it. The universe, the knowledge of the universe is beginning to empower you to raise you up out of this despair.
That's right. You will decide to purchase the Healing Frequency series books.
Yes.
Today.
Yes, definitely.
And start to read it today. But even if you don't start to read it today, go to what? Chapter 9. Chapter 9
and go get into the breath work and meditation. I'm guiding you through it. And you can see for yourself, there's no guesswork. And now you will begin to see. I promise you, once you've done it, you're gonna find out, oh wow, this is what, this is what this is about. Because you're gonna allow yourself to let your mind to become, basically relaxed and in tune with the frequency you're supposed to be. And those of you who have tried it, well, you tried it before. I've had some people come to class or whatever, but loving yourself doesn't just do it one day. You have to decide to do it the next day. See, that's what the book is about. I'm giving you a 21-day challenge to do this breath work that I'm guiding you through 21 days because this allows you to start building a habit. But the habit is about loving you.
Right.
For 21 days. So you don't think you're worth 21 days of love? Then don't try to put 21 days of responsibility on somebody else to love you. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right.
So again, those you know how to go purchase the books. I have a new one coming out soon, but in the meantime, the Healing Frequency, how breath work and meditation lowers blood pressure naturally, because most of you, either you have it or you're about to have it because the pressure you got your body under right now, because this energy is what begins to get that pressure going. It had nothing to do with runs in your family. Like I stated earlier, your mindset runs in your family.
That's
so
right.
give that lie up. If more lies is being told because you don't want to take responsibility for things, just trying to want to say it's just going to happen to you. No, it's happening to you because you're doing it to yourself. So it's up to you now to educate yourself. We give you the resources. It's up to you to take them.
That's right.
So again, thank you for joining us.
We love you all.
Nothing but love and gratitude for you all. That's where it comes from. So again, thank you for joining us again. Go to the link. I'll be posting the link again later. I'll actually post the link in this video, Ashley. So this is your challenge to love yourself. That's the challenge. The 21-day challenge of loving you. I keep putting it out there. So again, it takes a really audacity for someone to go past this link, but want to put the responsibility on someone else loving them so much today that they don't want to show themselves love. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's facts. So again, thank you for joining us. We'll be back with more information at Energy Healing Network. That's what we're here to do.
That's right.
To tune you into the healing frequencies up to you to listen.
Yes.